Hi, it's Mark Mazur from masterquery.com. Welcome back. This is part 2 of the data fields. We're going to talk about the balance of our data fields. In part 1, you learned how to read them and what the first half of them meant. Now we'll continue. Okay, we left off at price level, so let's go ahead and go to the next category. The next category is spread. Pretty simple. It's the high minus the low. I'll go ahead and load a couple of them, and I'll run that. And we see that Apple had a spread of $6 for the day and a spread of $16.75 for the week. So this thing can move. The spread between the high and the low. So let's look at all of them. It's so volatile. Let's just take a look. Okay, so we see that Apple had huge spreads. Just huge. For the year, his spread, the high and the low, was $131.15. That's amazing. So spread for the quarter is $28.65, and so on. So the spread is the high minus the low. Okay. Let's go ahead and leave one of these up there. I'll leave month, and we'll show you what it looks like in terms of percent. So a spread for the month was $20.67, but in terms of percentage, in percentage terms, it represents 9.87%. Okay, so you can filter out data that meets your criteria by spread or spread percentage. Let's say you only want stocks where the difference is very stable, and you want stocks where the spread is very, very tight. So you want a low spread percentage or absolute number. Or you're only looking for stocks where the difference between the high and the low is at least $1 or $2 or $5. So it makes it easy to tag down your data. Alright, so let's go to the next category. Next category is volume average low. Volume average low for the week and the month. This is very, very useful to filter on data that has exploded in volume for a couple of days, which seems to happen every day. There's always a stock out there that just trades 50, 60,000 shares, and suddenly we get some news and he trades 7 million, and it'll taper off 2 million the next day, 1 million, and then eventually it goes back to where it normally belongs. So if you wanted to buy some of those shares, you may want to stay away from stocks that don't meet your volume low. So if I have a volume low set, maybe I only want to buy shares that have an absolute minimum average volume for the month of 300,000 shares. So I'm not interested in the average volume. I mean, I could have an average of 2 million for that given day, but it's not really representative of stocks I might be looking for. Maybe I only want the low to be a certain percent. So that could be useful. So you get some real volume averages there. Alright, volume change. I'll go ahead. You have day, week, and month. So let's go ahead, and I am going to load volume for this one. Volume and volume change. As a matter of fact, we already have volume. It's already in there. So let's go ahead and load volume change one day. And we'll go ahead and run that. And with the rich client, you can just drag and drop your columns, so now they're next to each other. Right? So you see the volume was 17 million. I got to load the daily data to really view this. Let's go ahead and move that over. Okay, so you see the volume is for 17 million, and the previous day's volume was 12 million, so almost 18 million. 12.3 and 17.8, 17.9. That represents a 45% increase in volume. So here it was a 42% decrease. The previous day was 21 million, and this particular day was 12 million. That represented a 42% decrease. Okay, so here you might be able to see pressure that way. You have it for the week and for the month. You also have it for, now this last category is the only, currently we have about 65 data fields. We're going to grow to over 500. But for now, this next category is the only one that has 2 time parts. So let's go back to change real quick. change, all the other data fields represent that particular calculated column to the single day's data. So the change in relation to that particular day. Well, when you have two time parts, okay, so let's change for the week and the month. When you have two time parts, you're going to see it's the difference in average volume for the week to the average volume for the month. And I can go ahead and load that data so we can see what that looks like. So let's do the volume average for the week and for the month. Okay, I'll run that. And you'll see that the volume average for the week is 17.1. The volume average for the month was 17.8. So the difference between those two is a 4% decrease. He actually went down for the week. Well, this next stock, he went up for the week. He went up 16% for the week. So when you see data fields that have two time parts, again, volume average, you have 1 week, 1 month. So when you see data fields that have two time parts, it's the first compares to the second. Okay? And if it has only one time part, then that time part compares to that particular day. Alright, so there you have it. That should cover all of our data fields. I'm sure you will be learning more as you start to play around with the queries. Remember, the best way to learn is to load the system queries and just play around with them. Feel free to edit them and run them. So that's what they're for. So visit masterquery.com and run your queries, learn how to write them, and make some money. Okay, take care.